Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Content Live Golf. My name's Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Steve. It's good to see you. It was only a week ago I last saw you, actually, for our last episode.
Absolutely. So only 6 days, in fact. So I'm sure you've missed me, and things have changed though because they changed. So we all had no, we didn't get an extra hour in bed, did we? We had an hour less in bed. So, but
it was tough.
It means that hopefully a bit better weather and a bit more golf to cover. So right now, this podcast is all about junior golf. It's about the next generation of golfers. It's about trying to get more boys and girls playing the game of golf. This is show number 8, and today we're going to be talking about county junior golf. So we're going to hear from Ladies European Tour professional Felicity Johnson. She's actually playing in a tour event this week. So I did an interview earlier this week. She played county golf, county girls golf, county ladies golf before progressing into the England team, and then obviously onto the professional ranks as well. We've also got Midland Boys County team finalists coming up this next week, and we've got representatives for both of those two counties, Warwickshire and Cambridgeshire. So we've got Warwickshire under-18 team manager Simon Parsons and Cambridge director of junior golf David Gamble. So it might get a little bit feisty. We're going to try and see if we can get them to give a few tactics.
I can see him in the background, Steve. I can see him in the background. They're giving it all this.
Right, but first things first. Let's do the golf news and the junior golf news. Now, as we mentioned, clocks have changed, so we're now into a period whereby hopefully a little bit more golf. Now, what's the traditional start of the golf season, Ian?
Sunnydale Foursomes.
Of course it is, yes. It's the US Masters, isn't it?
The Masters,
That's obviously coming up in a week or so. But before then, we've got the Augusta National Women's Amateur Championship, and actually started today. And to take place, Champions Retreat Golf Club. The top 30 out of 72 progress through to Saturday's final round, which is actually played at Augusta National. Now, British and Irish golfers involved in this, including girls amateur champion Hannah Darling, fellow Scot Louise Duncan, 2 English golfers Annabelle Fuller and Kaylee McGinty, and Ireland's Lauren Walsh. And I'm just going to put this up on the internet. We're just going to prove how this is now, because the latest of that is 15 holes played. She's level par. She's tied 6th, so that's really good start to the tournament for her. So let's hope that carries on and she makes it through to that final.
How's Annabelle doing, Steve? How's Annabelle Fuller doing? I've done a lot of work on Annabelle.
All right, okay. Now we go real live now, aren't we? Oh dear, I'm going further down the leaderboard. She is
used to this. Sky Sports News.
Absolutely, yeah. One hole to play. She's 4 over par, so probably needs to improve a little bit just to make sure she gets through to that Saturday round. But yeah, right now. Lottie Woad as well, which a friend of the podcast. She's playing in the Ladies European Tour this week as well in the Terre Blanche Ladies Open in France. So good luck to her but there has been some competitions, as we mentioned. Junior European Open at Lingfield Park in Surrey. They had a Sunday, March the 27th. It was their first event of the series. Lots of competitions throughout the whole year which take place with that. Charlie Crocutt and Toby Peters, they had the best boys gross score. Jordan 1-0 the girls gross, and William Johnson here net 69. Now then, Robert Rock Junior Golf Tour, they had another event at Wharton Park. Now, how about this net score, right? How about this for a score? 10 under par, net 62 from George Benitez. How about that? Not bad,
Get out of town. No way. That's unbelievable.
You'd settle for you'd settle. Yeah, you'd settle for it. Believe it or not, he finished fourth. He finished 4th with that. 2 other players got the same score. Thomas James and Sam Tooth both as well. And the winner with a 61 was Nicholas Campbell. So fantastic score in there.
Wow.
Right, player who's really well in this last week or so. Joshua Berry won on the Clutch Pro Tour, the amateur event there. It was played at the Belfry. The teenager shot 70. There he is. 2 under par 70. And then 24 hours later, he won the South Yorkshire Schools Boys Championship. There he is with the trophy.
There he is.
That was played at that was played at Hickleton Golf Club. He narrowly edged out Jack Wally. Now, I did mention actually last week that the fact that there's a lot of schools competitions taking place, regional events over the last few weeks or so. He's obviously won that one. Another big one which just took place, finished I think just yesterday. I think it was the Scottish Student Sports Championship, which took place at Moray Golf Club. Ben Fuller won the men's competition he's from Shoal Creek. He shot 70, 69, 69 and 72. He won by 2 shots from Western. Now the women's event, Nicholas Slater from Woodson Hall by, wait for it, 15 shots. So wow. I'll tell you what, a second, third and fourth round scores were 70, 78 and 71. Her first round was a 64, so one from start to finish there. So fantastic scoring there. She's
got some game, is Nicola. Name to remember, Nicola. She won the Fowdo Series Midland Champs last year as well. Remember that name, Nicholas Slater.
Absolutely, yes. Well, obviously, started the season on house on fire there. So staying in Scotland then, another big event coming up the first week in April. 2 big events, actually. The Scottish Boys Open Championship. That takes place at Merker Links. And the Scottish Girls Open Championship. Once again, that's at Irving to the 8th of those 2 tournaments. Another event in Scotland. We'll stay up north of the border for the time being. Junior Tour Scotland, they've got the event at Royal Dornoch on April the 2nd and 3rd. And then at Kilspindy, they've got another event on April the 16th and 17th. Now, actually, I'll be there for that. We're taking some photos, and we'll be covering Scottish golf in the next podcast. We'll be covering that event, and also we'll be covering the Fowdo Series event, which takes place at Fairmont St Andrews. That's April the 18th to the 20th. The first, no, because you'll be there, is at Brocket Hall. It's the South. Yeah. That's April the 11th to the 13th. So now, I need to say, right, we've got lots of competitions coming up in the next few weeks or so. So just going to give you an idea about some of the competitions which are going to be taking place because, well, they're loads, basically. There's no excuse for juniors out there. If you want to go and play in a competition, these are some of the ones. British Junior Golf Tour, they got their first event of the year, April the 4th at Moore Park. They've got one at Cambridge. We've got David Gamble they've got an event there at the 17th. Now, in between then, so from the 4th to the 17th, they've got events at Wellingborough, Farley, Torquay, Stover, and Dainton Park. So if you want to play in a British Junior Golf Tour event, there are plenty to choose from there. European Junior Golf Tour, April the 12th, they've got an event at Hayden Park. The Clutch Junior Tour, we mentioned the amateur tour. They got the first Junior Tour event that takes place at Worplesdon on April the 11th. Lancashire Junior Golf Tour, Ashton in Makerfield on April the 7th, and then Preston on April the 12th. So a couple of events there. Now, the podcast that we had last week, we obviously had Michael Gallagher from the Irish Junior Open Tour. Their series starts April the 14th, Dungannon, and then April the 19th at Lochern, which, of course, as we know, is hosting the Champions event towards the end of the year. So a couple of cracking golf courses to play there. Staying over in Ireland, the Irish Kids Golf Trophy. That starts as well April the 12th. Leinster, I did say there was loads of competitions. Let's stay in Ireland. Northern Ireland, US Kids Northern Ireland Tour. That starts at Ardglass Golf Club, April the 10th. US Kids South Wales Tour, they've got their second event of the year. That's at Monmouthshire. That's on the same day, April the 10th. US Kids London Tour, that starts at Linfield on April the 12th. Now, Junior Opens. I could go through all the Junior Opens because there are tons taking place, but some of the ones for you to look out for. So it's an Enadoc down in Cornwall, Links and Girton in Cambridgeshire, Guildford in Surrey, Forest in Moray in Scotland, Royal Dornoch, they've got another event there. They got their own Junior Open at Highlands, Liphook in Hampshire, Corhampton, Hampshire, Thorpe Hall, Essex, Style in Cheshire, Ashburnham in Carmarthenshire in Wales, Ulverston in Cumbria. They've got Parkstone in Dorset. You've got Droitwich in Wiltshire.
I'll tell you what we can do, Steve. I'll tell you what we can do to make life easier for everybody. If you missed any of that and you're watching this and you missed any of those notes, they're all on this website, which is Steve's website, progressjuniorgolf.com. And to make your life even easier, there's a link in the body of this broadcast. You don't even have to type it out. Just wherever you're watching this, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, wherever, YouTube, there's a link to Progress Junior Golf. Just give it a click. And every single junior event that is happening pretty much this side of Christmas is listed, isn't it, Steve?
Absolutely, yeah. And also there are ways whereby you can look regionally. So if there's one in your area and you're thinking, what's going on in my area in the next few weeks or so, have a look on then seen. There might be an event which you can. So yeah. Another one we have to mention as well is the Alexis Brown Foundation Charity Golf Day. It was mentioned a few weeks ago in the podcast when we did the one on the junior clothing. It's very close to Every Shot Counts. They've got their event that takes place at Stonebridge Golf Club on April the 12th. So loads of competitions out there. Loads that we're going to be covering when we're in a few weeks' time when we do our event in Scotland. So that's the golf news. Let's get on with the podcast then. Let's get our guests on, because
I'm
we're going to be talking county junior golf. So we've got our two guests here. We're going to have Ladies European Tour professional Felicity Johnson coming on. We're going to get clips from a chat which I had with her. So our two guests here, let's just check the microphones, make sure my microphone's working. So Simon Parsons, who Warwickshire under-18s team manager, and Cambridgeshire director of golf, David Gamble. Good evening, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Evening, Steve.
How are we doing then? So let's start the fighting now. So you're going to be playing each other. What's the date for your match then? When do you play against each other?
8th of April.
8th of April.
And we're playing in Shrewsbury.
And hot off the press, only one of you is going to be there, which is quite shocking. The fact that one of them's dodging out of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Steve, I've got a prior engagement, which was something that was delayed for obvious reasons over the last 18 months or so. So because this was rearranged because of the fuel crisis last autumn, it's a date that I can't make. So Nev Gardner, our chairman of TMPD, is standing in for me.
Yeah, and well, I wouldn't miss it for the world, even though it's in Shrewsbury, which is,
now, there will be some...
only the other end of the country, really.
Yeah, I would have some sympathy for Simon, but he's going to go and play golf at Royal Birkdale, so there's no sympathy whatsoever with him there. Right, now the subject today is county junior golf. So let's start off with a nice simple question then. What is county junior golf? Because there's going to be people watching this and think, well, county junior golf is just for the better players, and to a certain degree that is true. But it's not just for the better players. It's also for all types of players who can play golf. And the practice is more appropriate with juniors than any other age category as well. So let's, first of all, with you, David, then you just explain what you think county junior golf is about and how people can get involved.
Well, to me, and I mean, certainly in Cambridgeshire and other counties, junior golf is all about accessibility. To give you some idea, we have split our county section into 4 groups, starting at under 12s, under 14s, under 16s, and under 18s. And at under 12s, we have no requirement whatsoever for experience or ability. We just want kids to be enjoying golf, swinging a golf club, getting out there, particularly from maybe smaller clubs where they don't have access to a huge range of friends. And we give them the ability to get together regularly in fun competitions and then help them progress. I mean, at under 18 level, we do get quite elite, I suppose, because our boys have proven track record. And to get into the actual teams, they have to be a very, very good standard. But all the way through up to virtually under 18s, we will take all comers and help them to improve their game. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting the next generation ready, not just for county golf, but actually for club golf. Because at the end of the day, we're a union and we're there to provide a service for our clubs as much as we are for the counties.
And that's the same in Warwickshire as well, isn't it, Simon? I know for certain that only a few weeks ago had a trial for under 10s, under 12s, just to have a look at them and see what they were. And the standard there was varied, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with David more, really. This is about accessibility for all of us and encouraging boys and girls of a younger age to take up the game. You and I, Steve, as you're well aware, have been involved in talking about junior leagues and how we make the junior leagues for the clubs better, all right, and maybe have the union involved in helping out with those junior leagues. Just as David said, we run a futures programme. We have under 14s, under 16s and under 18s. And then hopefully when they get to under 18s, they are at a level where they're playing good golf. You are talking about people whose handicap index will be 5 and below at that level. But when they start, Certainly under 14s, it's still handicap golf, and it's all about being inclusive and making sure we get more and more boys and girls playing the game.
Okay, now we'll get both of your thoughts on exactly how juniors can actually get involved with county golf. I'm Felicity Johnson. I spoke to her, like I say, earlier this week, and just found out about how she first got involved with county junior setup, which was also in Warwickshire, actually.
Got into the county junior setup kind of through a newspaper article. There was the current county captain at the time was Claire Dowling, who played several Curtis Cups, home internationals for Ireland, had a very successful amateur career, and she was Warwickshire county captain and placed an advert in the local paper in Birmingham, probably the Birmingham Mail, I imagine, kind of recruiting for junior girls because there was so few. At the time, I'd have been about 9, I think. And my coach, who's also my stepdad, he saw it in the paper and thought, well, I know someone's got a bit of talent or has got ability, is a golfer anyway, age, I say 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. So he responded to the article to Claire. I went along to some junior coaching, which used to be at Kenilworth with Steve Yates, and kind of that was my first introduction to the county setup. It was just an opportunity to go and play golf, meet some different people. I say there wasn't loads of us because I say if you're advertising in a newspaper, there's obviously a bit of a shortage for junior girls. So yeah, went along, and I mean, when you're kind of that young, you just want to play golf. So for me, it was obviously your parents, your taxi driver on a Sunday morning or during the school holidays, and yeah, it was just a chance to play another golf course and just to keep playing golf, which is what I wanted to do when I was that young.
All right, Joe. It looks like Steve just had to dip out very quickly, of course. But let's talk about the pathway then of getting into sort of golf at county level. Where does it all start, chaps? Let's start with you, David.
Really, as I outlined earlier, it starts virtually under 12. I mean, we do have kids that come in at any level, but unfortunately, it's a bit of a weird position because we seem to be competing with the multitude of other sports out there. You know, we don't want to compete with other sports, and that we encourage our kids actually to play other sports because hand-eye coordination, fitness, all those things come in. But obviously, you know, I had a lad tonight who's finally signed up. He's an under 14 player and plays off about 9. So, you know, he will become a good player. But, you know, he's also dedicated to his cricket. And that obviously creates a clash for us, which can be difficult. But it's all about getting those kids and identifying them and encouraging. I'm really working with the clubs. The biggest problem we have really is actually working with the local pros and seeing the value of juniors. I'll go on because I do tend to talk, I know, but I will tell you one quick story. If I was a pro, and I say this to everybody, and I could have 3 juniors or 3 members walk through my door or 3 juniors, I would pick a junior every time because they want new kit every day. They want new clubs every 18 months. They want a Mars bar and a drink and something else. And why pros don't see them as an absolute, because I have never had a parent say to me that money is the problem. Never.
Yeah. Steve's back now, I think, chat. So over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I need to sort out my Virgin connection here. It's dreadful, isn't it? But okay, so from your point of view, and then so I mean, David's made the point that the club's involved and things like that. What kind of age are you looking at as well to try? Does it matter?
Well, just to pick up on something David said first, my son is now 20 and been through the junior system, and you're right, David, they'll spend money like water.
Yeah.
They'll always want new clubs and new gear, and Pro V1s and Pro V1Xs like it's going out of fashion. So, sorry, Steve, you're going to have to ask me the question again now.
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of age did your son get involved, and is there a right or a wrong age for juniors to get involved in county golf?
There is. Do you know what, Steve? I don't believe there's a right or wrong age. I think Jacob first hit a sponge golf ball with a plastic club when he was about 4 years old. Now, football was his love at that point, and he probably came to county golf a little late. So what that says, it actually doesn't matter. Jake's debut for the county was at under 16s. We've got boys and girls now, as you well know, that are there at 9, 10 and 11, right, playing good golf and involved in the county setup. I think where it all starts, all right, is the clubs that run junior academies, where they don't charge membership for younger players, where the kids can rock up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning and just practice playing golf either on a par 3 course or a chipping range or a chipping green, and do it that way and just get the feeling of club on ball.
Just about age there, we'll hear from Felicity Johnson, because one of the questions I asked her was when she made her county debut, and let's just hear from Fliss.
I remember playing the first junior match. I'd have probably been about 11. It was at South Staffs. I think it was the last event of the last match of that season. So I'd have probably been 11. Just playing it. I think I played just the 9-hole match at the end, just to get out there and meet some people. And our junior organizer was Sylvia Evans from Sutton Coldfield, and she was fantastic. So she did all of my junior organising. So yeah, I think I was 11, 9 holes, and then from the following year, played for them for the next handful of years, for as long as I could do.
Hello, Steve. Are we still there? I think
he's on
he's on a different planet today, isn't he? He really is. I actually found something quite interesting a little bit earlier. Felicity Johnson, she said she got in touch a bit because she saw a newspaper article. I mean, how do we get these kids to play golf as opposed to go off and do football and things like that, Simon?
Do you know what, Ian? I don't think this is a competition. I don't think we want kids to play golf instead of playing football or cricket or tennis. I think we want them to play golf as well as. And maybe we need to find ways that they can do it that doesn't take 4 hours. 6-hole competitions. I know that in the past, juniors have run competitions where instead of playing 9 holes, you get 40 shots and see how far around you can get. Right? So maybe we do stuff slightly differently. Skills challenges, all right, and that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be 18 holes, 4.5 hours. There are 60s events, aren't there, where 6-hole match play, which I think would be a great way to get kids involved. And the more clubs that put green tees out there halfway down the fairway, all right, for these younger kids to get out on the golf course, the better it'll be.
Yeah.
So David, why do we not see enough of it then?
I mean, unfortunately, and this is absolutely true, it's still an image perception. I have a daughter next door who's a very, very good golfer. Who's just got a guaranteed place at Glasgow School of Art, and she's not going to go because all she wants to do is play golf. And she wants to be a coaching pro. She's got no illusions of grandeur. She just wants to make her money being a good old hard-working coaching pro. But her friends laugh at her. I mean, she is the only one in college. You know, I've never seen her being able to bring a friend on the course. And we're forever trying to encourage kids to say, can't you bring a friend from school? Can't you introduce somebody else? And it's still that perception. It's the old man sport. And unfortunately, we still have an image problem. I'm getting over that. I'll be keen to hear your ideas.
I've got lots of ideas, I can tell you that. Certainly, I've put them to the Fado series about at the starting and having flames coming up.
Is there anything that counties can do specifically with that then?
What, we're changing the image?
I don't know if you heard me then or not.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously talk about clubs taking the
Yeah, I mean, there's lots clubs, counties can do. I mean, we've given grants back to clubs last year because we had excess money because of the COVID situation. This year, we're actually trying a really novel approach. And we have 3 clubs in the area that don't have any juniors. And we're grouping them together. And we're saying, look, you've only got 2 or 3 boys together. Why don't you come together as a a group membership, and you can enter our competitions. You can do what you want to try and get in. I mean, I don't know how we can have that kind of impact to change the image of the game itself locally, but we work very hard with the clubs, and certainly the clubs that don't have juniors, to get them rolling.
I'll tell you what we can do, Steve. Certainly from a county point of view, we can stop asking 9 and 10-year-olds to wear a shirt and tie. Right? They played a county match. Yeah, that would probably help. There are lots of really cool things about the game of golf and its etiquette and its tradition, all right, that teach kids about life in general, but that isn't one of them. Yeah, and perhaps those sort of standards and that sort of image that David is talking about is the sort of thing we need to work on to make the sport appear a little cooler. Jacob was in exactly the same boat when he was at school. He was pretty much the only one that played golf. All right. Today, all right, because he's been to university and studied golf, all right, all his mates play golf. It is a cool thing to do. All right. It is a cool thing to do. But for those kids that are 8, 9 and 10, you've got to make it more accessible. You can't take 4.5 hours. You can't ask them to wear a shirt and tie in the clubhouse afterwards. And you've got to make it more fun. Now, some of the older members at some of the clubs might not like that idea, but if the clubs are going to survive, they've got to go that way.
Yeah, cricket made the change, didn't it, with the T20?
2020 is a brilliant example, isn't it? That's why I'd like to see more of the 6-hole match play stuff. Yeah.
Steve, can you hear us? Are you there?
Yeah, I was going to say, you used the example there, match play. We've got a clip of Felicity Johnson who's talked about when she played county golf. That was the first time that she'd ever played match play golf. Let's just hear that from Fliz.
I played for the junior team at Church Farm. We used to go around the different municipals in Birmingham, and that was all stroke play. So we go to Boldmere, Cotswold Woods, Worley was there at the time, Hatchford Brook, and there'd be 6 of you in a team, and it was the best 5 out of the 6 scores that went towards the team. So that was all stroke play. So the county stuff probably was my first match play. I hadn't played any at the club or anything yet. So yeah, it probably was my first introduction. And I always enjoyed playing match play. It's something I was quite successful at match play, kind of all through the levels. And kind of looking back now, I think it's because it makes you quite aggressive. Because you know that if you make an 8 on one hole, it doesn't matter. You lose one hole, you don't lose 5 shots against the field or 4 shots against the field. So I think it does make you, or definitely for me, it made me more aggressive. Where I knew if I had one bad hole, it didn't matter because I could win back and win. I could come back and win the next 5, and that was fine. I mean, I've been on tour for 15, 16 years, so I'm probably out the habit of playing match play a little bit. But when I first got on tour, I think it definitely did help me to try and be more attacking, more aggressive. I think I'm going to try and go back to a little bit that more mentality of being a bit more aggressive and not a bit tentative. So yeah, definitely playing match play, especially when you're young. You don't want to keep score every time. Yeah, everyone knows when you turn pro, you have to count all your shots and you have a score at the end of the day. When you're just learning to play golf and you're playing 18 holes for the first time in the first year or so, it doesn't matter. You don't want to keep your score every time because you're going to have bad rounds. Everybody has bad rounds. Everybody has bad holes. And if you shoot a really bad score, you can be embarrassed. It can really put you off. So match play, it doesn't matter. So I think it is really good to play it.
David, just listening to that, sorry, jump in on you, Steve, because you seem to freeze after each video. I want to talk about match play because as a broadcaster myself, match play is my favourite thing to do in the world because you can see exactly what's happening. You know, when I do certain tours, for example, and they're one-day events, the person who goes out first could end up winning the tournament. Do you know what I mean? So you sometimes you end up missing them. But with match play, should that be more of the focus? Because golf is traditionally stroke play. That's kind of what golf is. But at junior level, should that not make up like 80% of what we actually do, as opposed to sort of more focusing on stroke play? What do you think, Simon?
My view has always been match play is the purest form of the game.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best ways to get juniors involved in the game. I'm not averse to stroke play, but if it was stroke play, I think we should introduce them to Stableford really quickly rather than medal play.
Yeah.
All right. And that way, you don't run up an 11 or 12 or a 13. All right. Learning how to play match play and the strategy and the tactics that involves. That's the most fun for me. All right. And in fairness to Steve and I are in the middle of and are doing quite a bit of work to try and encourage Warwickshire County Union to be involved in junior leagues and to back junior leagues. There's nothing better for a young golfer to pull on a club shirt and represent their club in a match against another club. That's the closest we get to football and cricket.
Yeah, I mean,
and giving them a shirt and pulling on the shirt and representing your club, that means something to these kids. I'm convinced of it.
Absolutely. That's why kids, kids don't love football because it's the skillful game that it is. They love it because they get out with 11 of their teammates. And we see that through golf as well in every aspect, And it's the very rare kid that will go out there week on week on his own for his own score and not make mates because he's just playing a medal around with somebody different every week. They're not interested in that. They want a team.
It's exactly what you say, isn't it? Actually, and I'm trying to think what sports are actually just so by yourself. It's such an independent game, golf, isn't it? What actual sports are there out there that you just play by yourself? I'm trying to think. Like tennis, it's an individual sport, but you're playing against somebody. Football, you're playing against other people as well. And from a broadcasting point of view, the excitement, the entertainment. I did the Sunningdale Foursomes a couple of weeks ago, and it was just absolutely magnificent. So from a viewing spectacle as well, I think it's great. Simon, what's the sort of reaction from the parents then? What did they prefer?
That's an interesting question. I think some of it will depend on whether the parent is a player or not. All right, and then they'll all have their own view. Obviously, county golf is all match play for the most part. Certainly, if you're representing the county, bar the England Golf Championships, it tends to be match play. It's an interesting question. I'm not convinced I know the answer. I think some parents would tell you match play, some parents would tell you stroke play. But certainly, when we go to the Sixes, and this year it's at Woollerton Park, and those 6 boys have to play 36 holes and every shot counts. That's a completely different type of pressure. Yeah, and it is much harder for them. I'm sure David feels the same.
Yeah, and I might be giving something away here, but when we play Warwickshire in a couple of weeks in our big final, we've got it's teams of 10. We've got 10 boys coming, and I've had to book 24 beds because every single parent wants to come, and it's a real team effort. And it's not just playing the match; it's the practice round the day before, it's the meal the evening after, and we did some video clips recently for an England golf promotion. And we asked the boys to say 3 words, and every single one of them in their 3 words said fun and teamwork. They just love that aspect of being out together. And the highlights they came up with were mostly what they did in the hotel the night before, or winning the cup or whatever it was. But it was all about the teamwork.
So David, if the boys are in the same hotel, all right, I'm prepared to bet that the Warwickshire team are the best at corridor cricket.
Yeah, I've got footage of entire hotel putting, 120 feet down the hotel corridor.
Yeah, we need to get a camera on this, chaps. We need to get a camera on this. We
have it.
with a roller tube, for his back, all right, and a rolled up sock, all right, to play corridor cricket at 9:30 at night, all right, which is what they did before the Sixes at Ashbourne, all right, where they absolutely battered Nottinghamshire, all right, at corridor cricket, and that's what it's all about. It's ethic. And when I've been involved in this with the under-16s and the under-18s, I've been with the same boys now for nearly 5 years, and it's play well, have fun, and win. That's what we're about.
Absolutely.
In that order. And creating the team ethic and the team atmosphere is actually quite difficult, because it's not like football where you meet every week and train. Yeah, all these boys play at different clubs. So to bring them together for county coaching, county get-togethers, our order of merit has been brilliant because it's brought the boys together. and they actually become friends with people from other clubs. And we know for a fact these boys now organise their own days out at each other's clubs to play golf with one another.
And as one thing we know, one thing we notice is a small county. Absolutely, we turn up and we play, and I guess it's made easier because we're only 20 clubs, so we get together with great regularity. And we notice when we go play a lot of the bigger clubs or counties, sometimes the boys don't necessarily know each other, because I mean, we don't play Yorkshire, so I'll use Yorkshire as an example. You know, you've got kids that are 2 hours away from each other and they've met once, you know, so they're not going to hang around and be best mates. We turn up, and generally the other coaches say to us, God, you can put a blanket over your boys. What have you done? Well, because they do. They play together, they work together, and they're a team. And that's a formidable unit, as you know, in any sport.
We after we got involved, there was a couple of us that got involved, and we asked the boys to go back out when they'd finished their matches and watch. All right, their team.
Obligatory.
And we made sure that they wore the kit and they wore the county cap and they wore blue trousers and they looked like a team and behaved like a team. And I had so many, right, of the other counties ask us what we'd done, and it's just making that discipline a part of what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obligatory.
Discipline might sound like a harsh word, but if you all turn up and you're all wearing the same cap and you're all wearing the same top and you're all wearing the same trousers,
you're a team, aren't you? Yeah.
You feel like a team. And that's the football thing, that's the camaraderie, that's the being part of something that golf doesn't get when you play a medal on a Saturday afternoon at your home club and you're on your own. And that's that's what the boys love.
Well, another hot tip, really. When I took this over a few years ago, we really couldn't get a team out. And we were at the point we were phoning up boys, and being a small county, literally begging for players. You know, can you please play? We can't get a team out. And Ben Kerr, who's our lead coach, who I have a lot of time for, said we need to change this attitude. Because years ago when he played county, they used to get a letter through the door and they used to wait for the letter, you know. So we've gone back to that, and now they get their email rather than letter. But it's, you have been selected, you know, and, you know, you have to turn it down. And we've made a point of people that have turned us down, you know, at a county and at an elite level. Okay. And actually, we've turned it around from begging to something really aspirational now. And getting into an under 16s or an under 18s county squad should be something that's aspirational.
Absolutely.
They'll be proud of it, won't they? It's like getting a letter from the master, not out
even in a small county, as David keeps pointing out. Have you noticed, Ian? It's a bit like dealing with Alex Ferguson here. I've been across Cambridgeshire. It's massive.
Chaps, we can hear from Felicity again, as she actually talks about sort of the quality of the courses that the juniors get to play on. So let's hear from her.
Here in the Midlands, we have a lot of parkland, some heathland courses, but then you might go and play against another county nearer the coast, and you're playing links golf. So you're learning different types of golf. And like I said, we get to play on great golf courses. In the Midlands, we've got some great ones. Enville, Beaudesert, Copteath, we used to play out for a lot for county stuff. So you do get spoiled on good golf courses. It's in the summer, so it's usually good weather, good condition. So I found it a great way to play all the different golf courses within Warwickshire predominantly, but then also different types as well. You don't have to travel too far, and you can play some good links golf courses.
Yeah, how true is that? I mean, how lucky are we here in the UK, aren't we, with golf courses? I mean, what's it like in David? Let's come to you. What's it like in your area? There's some great tracks.
I could get in trouble here, couldn't I?
They're all wonderful, of course.
All our clubs are beautiful. They're all accommodated.
Cambridgeshire is such a small county.
Actually, we only have 20 clubs in our county, but they are actually all very accommodating. We have some fantastic clubs. You know, the Gogs, Saffron Walden, Ely, Newmarket, just to name a few of them. The ones that roll off the top of my head. But as Felicity just said, you know, it's only an hour up the road, and we've got Hunstanton, you know, an hour and a half, and you're in the Nottinghamshire courses. And with county golf, the accessibility to them. I mean, you know, our boys have played Sherwood Forest, Hollingwell, Coxmore, you know, all places, open qualifiers that you'd be, any grown man would be paying £120 a round, you know, Woodall Spa, whatever. And these kids are paying them for free, or 20 quid if they're doing a junior open, and that includes dinner. I mean, it quite annoys me actually when people keep on about the money thing in golf. It's a misnomer. You know, golf clubs are giving away membership to kids, or 150 quid a year. They can play the course 365 days a year like everywhere else. Whereas when they get their football membership, they pay their 200 quid and they get an hour a week. So value for money, really, really golf. And the standard, of course, is it's unbelievable. They can get anywhere.
Yeah, the football kit ain't free either.
And you know what, Ian? That's part of the beauty of the game, is that next Friday I'm travelling to go and play Royal Birkdale. All right.
Nice.
I couldn't go and play football at Wembley. I couldn't. All right. But you can go and walk where the great players have walked, and you can go and. Last year I played the old course at St Andrews. All right. I'm playing Birkdale this year. You can go and play where the pros play. And
are you going to tell us your scores?
That's part of it. Okay. Just a very average 6 handicapper, David. That's all. The very average.
I think, unfortunately, Simon, you should have probably picked Wembley, because being a West Brom fan, I don't think you're going to go there for a long time. So.
we drive past it on the way to many away grounds. I spent a cold, dark Friday night in Barnsley just before Christmas. And I'll have you know.
Now, chaps, we've spoken about sort of the camaraderie of the players themselves when they go away, and we can hear from Felicity Johnson again, actually, and she talks about the friendships that she's made throughout sort of junior and as she's progressed up to the professional ranks. So let's hear from her.
And I, we're the same golf year, both born 87. So yeah, I think we probably my first season was probably Mel's as well. So we were both 12. Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, we think we were 12 when we played our first match against each other. I say Mel's still playing on tour. Sophie Walker was a bit further north. She was Lincolnshire, but again through the county, more the ladies' side of it. But we're still friends now. And she's from junior golf. Sally Hinton played for Shropshire, and Warwickshire used to play against Shropshire. She's now the pro at Close House up in Newcastle. We're still friends. So this is 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago. And it's people that I don't phone them every day, but I could still keep in touch with them and see how they're doing in the industry.
There we go. Felicity Johnson giving her age away there to everybody live. But it's true though, isn't it, David, that the friendships that are formed now from 11, 12 at sports teams, they go on forever, don't they? Absolutely.
I mean, just as an example, myself and Simon haven't actually ever met in real life. IRL, is it? Internet speak or something?
IRL, in real life. That's
IRL,
exactly it. Yeah, that is exactly it.
I'm down with the kids.
Yeah, you're too cool, David, for me.
But you know, they do make friends for life. But we haven't actually ever met because of one thing and another. But my boys have already given me a bit of a lowdown and looked up the team that they're playing. They're saying, yeah, they've got some good players. They've got this guy and that guy, because they're very well aware of each other from Warwickshire, and you know, we play in competitions up and down the country all the time. But it's not even that. I mean, give one example. I know my own son, when he played in the US Kids European Tour or whatever, he made friends from Colombia and California, and I know he's still in touch with them. You know, and he can go pretty much anywhere in the world and play, and that's an amazing thing to have.
Simon, are you a little bit upset that you haven't met David yet? I can see a lifelong friendship forming here.
Well, to be fair, Ian, if I just drive to Cambridgeshire, it's so small, I'm bound to bump into him at some.
We've got to keep this going. We've got to get a hashtag going. Hashtag Cambridge is tiny.
Actually, I meant to say, Felicity mentioned a golf club called Warley Woods, all right, which is where I first started, which is a 9-hole municipal where I first started. How about that? And she played at Harborne Church Farm, which was just down the road. not far from where my parents lived. So there's the thing.
And another story about my son. He went down to Bridgewater and played at a club called Enmore down there, and won the junior championships when he was 18. And his coach up here went, "That's where I learned to play," and his name is on the same board as the guy that was his coach up in Peterborough. You know, it's just crazy. It's such a small community, and to be able to walk into any club anywhere in the country and pretty much be guaranteed you'll meet somebody, you know, is amazing.
You know what? Talking about that, and you actually said, David, a little bit earlier that in your area, Cambridgeshire, you only got 20 clubs, but we're probably not allowed to mention this because of everything that's going on. But I heard a fact before everything broke out in the world that in Russia there's only like 19 golf courses in total. You know, which is insane, isn't it? So you've got more golf courses than Russia. You know, obviously we probably can't really talk about Russia in a minute, but anyway, facts are facts. So don't make it up. You know?
And it's probably colder in Cambridgeshire than it is in Russia.
Probably.
Well, we don't have many rolling hills. Let's put it that way.
We are going to perhaps get a little bit more serious now with Felicity Johnson, because she talks about the choices available to juniors, and can there sometimes be a clash between playing for club, county, or even country? Let's hear from her.
There is more choices. You've got sort of like the Rob Rock Junior Tour and several others that are going on, usually on Sundays as well when county matches go on. I think the older I got, the more I was getting selected to play for England and for Great Britain. And then it often does clash with county stuff. So my last couple of years as a junior, I probably didn't play many county matches for Warwickshire, because it was probably on the same weekend as I was travelling to a European individual, or I was travelling somewhere else. Because as you make the step up, you have your weeks are longer. So you travel on a Sunday to go compete on the Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's not just one day events, then it's a bigger commitment. So, everyone that I was involved with the county was always very understanding. They realised I'd played for the county for, like I said, 4, 5, 6 years as a junior. It wasn't that I didn't want to play. It was the fact I'd been selected to play for England. And they saw that as being it shows well on the county. They're producing an England golfer. And I'd like to think they were very proud that I'd played for Warwickshire. I was making the next step, and they were happy that I was going to compete at the next level for my country, not just for my county. It's amazing. If I think back to all my England teammates, I could tell you what county they were all from. You see it on the start sheet. So you're always associated with that county. People always know where you're from. And I think that's one of the things I like about golf. I'm a big cricket fan as well. So I follow Warwickshire there. I go and watch them. So I like the association. I enjoy the association with Warwickshire. That's one of the things I do enjoy about golf. I always felt I was representing them, even if I wasn't wearing the navy and yellow. I had the pink and navy, whatever stupid colour we used to wear for England. That isn't my colour. I got told several times. I was always Felicity Johnson from Birmingham, Warwickshire. I was always very happy to try and have that association.
There we go. Look at that, Simon. A bit of a big up there to the Warwickshire. But how true? I mean, isn't that the dream for you as the under-18 boys team manager? Isn't it the dream you want to see your players go on to represent England and go on to even bigger things?
Well, we're already. This is my turn now, Steve. I can play the games now. Sorry, Ian. It's my turn. So we're already there. All right. Because 2 of those boys that David's boys are probably talking about, Seb Cave and Sam Easterbrook, won't be playing next Friday because they are with England and they're in the England boys squad. That they won't play. We don't think they'll play in the 6s because they'll be at German boys with the England squad if they're selected. And we just see that as testament to what we've done. I've known those 2 boys for 5 or 6 years. Sam was off 7 when I first met him. Seb was off 5. They're +3 and +4 today. All right. That's just, that's our proof of the pudding. That means that what we do works and the support we give and the coaching we give these boys works. And we use those boys, even though they're still 16 and 17, as an example to all the others to say, this is what you can be. All right. This is where you can go. And we're very proud of Seb and Sam, as we are of all the boys, but it's a great feather in our cap to have 2 boys in the England squad as we stand today.
It's the dream, isn't it? And David, I suppose sort of saying to you, there's a lot of options now, isn't there? Probably different to what it was sort of 20, 30 years ago. You know, you've got the likes of Fado, you've got the Robert Rock. I mean, Steve was listed off all the junior events that are available. It's a different world to, say, 20 years ago, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I couldn't agree more with what Simon's just said. I mean, but we haven't blazoned across our motto when we get boys rolled up or whatever. Your priorities as an individual and as a golf player, aspiring young golf player, have to be club, country, county, country. You know, and if you're selected for one, they go in order. If you're selected for your club, you play for your club. If you're selected for your county, you play for your county above your club, and the same. And we do have to be altruistic about that. I mean, currently we have, because as you know, it's divided up into regional squads.
Yeah.
And we have four of the 8 boys in a regional squad. We actually have at the moment, but it means I have to look very, very carefully at our diaries, because I know I'm going to lose my 4 best players to an England day, and there's nothing I can do about that. But you have to be altruistic about it, I think, because it's the proof of the pudding. But actually, if I can backtrack a little bit, probably our biggest problem now is competition at the lower level, because we're finding kids at under 12, because just to name a few, you've got the Robert Rock, you've got the Shires Tour, you've got the British Junior Golf, and they're all running massive, massive events. And they can be very good for the boys, but they don't build that team spirit that we're talking about. They don't give them that England pathway opportunity, and they don't give them the coaching and the guidance and are there for their sheer development. They're there for them to turn up on a Sunday, and they do great work, don't get me wrong. Some of their tours and some of the stuff they do, like particularly the British Junior Golf Tour, does distance appropriate and sets up courses, and they do some great things. And the more golfers out there in a lot of ways is better. But it breaks my heart sometimes, because they're all fighting against each other sometimes, and they're all trying to lay a golden egg, and they're kind of just cutting each off their noses to spite their face by actually over competing for what is a limited number of players.
So that's the question, actually. Then I suppose is too much competition then becomes a little bit unhealthy.
Oh, I've got kids that I see regular at 7, 8 years of age, and they're Insta stars. I mean, you can go on Instagram and you can see 100 of these kids, and bless their dads, they're filming them, putting shots up. They're down in Sunningdale. Several of them were at Sunningdale a couple of weeks ago, and then they'll be at Birkdale. And they're 8, 9 years of age. What a fantastic opportunity! But is that pushing the kid too far? Is it putting too much expectation on them at a very, very young age? Is all that travel really worth it when you can perhaps have some fun with friends and do it locally?
Yeah. It's about a level of expectation, isn't it? I find this as well. Simon, you probably see this a lot of pressure maybe from the parents. Their kids, the next big thing, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. How do you kind of deal with the expectation, not from the kids, but from the parents?
Not for me to deal with, Ian, really. I think
fair enough.
You start entering into territory that's none of your business. If you start to do that. And yes, we've all met parents that think their son or daughter is the next big thing. And I was involved for many years with football. I've seen it in football. I've seen it in golf. All right. In the end, only the top 5% will make a living playing professional football or professional golf at tour level. All right. So what you do is you deal with the boys. All right. And you manage the boys' expectations as best you can, all right, without interfering with what a parent's trying to do. Because in the end, all a parent's ever trying to do is in the best interests of their kid. Yeah. Whatever they're doing. So, I'm in that place where that's none of our business. Yeah. I'm there to look after the boys that play, maybe to manage their expectations. And if they want to ask for some advice on career or where they may or may not go, then I'll happily give it. But my job's about herding cats. I just need to make sure they're all in the right place at the right time.
It's a logistics job then. Right, we can hear back from Felicity again. And you mentioned about career and career pathways, and she now chats about sort of a stepping stone between county golf and England golf.
I made all the steps gradual from kind of club golfer to county golfer to England at the various levels and age groups. And yeah, I mean, I do think if you're good enough, you're old enough. So I played for England under 21s when I was 18, I think. So I was quite young, but I was good enough. So I was able to do it. But I think it's a massive step to go from club golf to national golf. There's so much, not just ability wise, but experience. The experience I got from playing, I guess we used to have a handful of county matches throughout the summer, so it's not like there was loads, but playing against Derbyshire, Staffordshire, Worcestershire, and Shropshire, you got to, I think when you're a junior, you can't play too much golf, and you get so much experience from playing against different people. So you're playing obviously different people every week, and it's I just don't think you can play too much golf. So any opportunity I had to play for the county, I was always very proud to do it. And if I'd have gone straight from club golf to national golf, it's a massive gulf. So that middle step, I think it's really important to do it gradually. It's a massive step to go from club to national, and a few people can make it that way, but I was always kind of that step to that step to that step, and to go gradually and kind of ease your way in that way. You meet people that you're then going to play with at the next step.
So it sounds to me then, David, that this county golf is the perfect pathway if you do want to make it to the top, or that's what you're trying. I mean, imagine everybody probably is. You know, they're all thinking I'm the next Tiger Woods, or I'm the next Nelly Corder, etc., etc. But county golf is the pathway to get there, isn't it?
Absolutely the pathway to get there. And anyone that aspires to play for England, despite me being an Irishman, that's the way they should.
Or Ireland, go. Of course, if you want to go play for Ireland.
Of course, if you want to play for Ireland. But again, another fly in the ointment. But what an opportunity for the boys. I think the majority of our boys now are going to do the scholarship thing. We see 2-3 boys every year going off to America. But they've come through the England pathway. They take advantage of that. And, some of them might even end up playing Walker Cup or whatever before they go. Who knows? But, it's definitely the pathway. And I think we're very lucky in this country that we have got such firm foundations. And England golf comes in for a lot of slack, really. But actually, their pathway through is very, very good. And the county set up. We find we pick up anybody with any talent in the area. And I know we're in contact with England Golf on a regular basis. So their regional squads pick up boys. So there is a very clear, proven pathway. And you'd be mad, given the support and the money that's put behind the boys. It's thousands of pounds is poured into any individual that's good enough to get to that level.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Simon, a question that you might be able to help me with. I've been involved through Faldo with scholarships and things like that. It seems like really the pathway is you play club, you play county, you play England golf, and then you go to America. Why is that? Why can't we keep them here?
You don't need to go to America, I think is the answer. There's stuff available in this country. Yeah. My son went to Tournament Golf College down at St Mellion, where they spend 3 months of the year doing a degree in tournament golf or international business management, 3 months of the year in St Mellion, and 3 months of the year out in Portugal. You don't need to go to America. And actually, I think maybe what you have to be careful of is you can end up at a university in America and be like John Rahm or Scotty Scheffler, but most of these boys end up at community college. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Not quite the same. So there are more and more courses. Birmingham University run a course in golf management that's very well thought of. There are more and more opportunities to have a golf education in this country. It's what my son's done. All right. He's picked up his first job in a pro shop while he's trying to carve some sort of amateur career. There are opportunities in this country, Ian, for sure.
Yeah, and one thing I always say to juniors getting into golf is, look, you might think you're the world's best footballer as well, but the chance of making, and if you don't make it as a footballer, really, there's no career for you. You know, how many of us know guys that have washed up? I was good enough. But if you don't make it to the top, and chances are, with the best will in the world, you're not going to be the next Tiger Woods. And if you don't, there is a career there for you. You know, and it doesn't even have to be in a shop. It can be coaching. It can be with Titleist or one of the other manufacturers. There was a whole host. It's a multi-billion-pound industry. So there's unlimited opportunities for these kids, wherever they choose to go within the game.
Absolutely. Well, look, chaps, I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. I just want to say on that final bit, David, I'm 36 years old and I still think I'm the next Tiger Woods.
Hey, it's a long story, but so do I, and I certainly not.
I think I might have missed the boat there, chaps. Look, thank you so much.
Can I just wish David and his boys the best of luck, because I'm not going to be there next week.
It's a real shame, Simon. I'm certain it'll be great fun, and you know the boys will make friends even when we do take the trophy.
Guys, thank you so much for your time this evening. I really appreciate it. Just to let you know, for the next Progress Junior Golf Podcast, we'll be in north of the border. We'll be in Scotland for that on April the 20th. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a nice evening.